Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about OTF Boona again. Now, for those of you who don't know, I recently did a video about OTF Boona, and we talked about the fact that he got locked up, and allegedly, man, he was hit with some charges connected to a shooting at Cumberland Mall in the Atlanta metro area. Now, OTF Boona is one of Lil Durk's ride or dies, man. If you look at any of his lives previously or anytime he's talked on social media, man, he's real big OTF, man. He's all about 300, man, and he's all about his crew. Now, it looks like somehow he got wrapped up in this Cumberland Mall shooting. Now, some of the information about this story was out there previously, but now it's starting to come to light ever since he got arrested last month. Now, late last month, I think it was the 29th of September, OTF Boona got locked up, and since then he's been incarcerated, and at that time, or at this time, there was no bond set for him, so he's still locked up in Cobb County, Georgia. Now, him being from Chicago and coming to Atlanta, you would think that, man, there wouldn't be any problems, but it seems like there's been a lot of function as far as Chicago artists in the Atlanta area getting into some type of crime or whatever, man. Now, I have to say allegedly because I'm not for sure that OTF Boona did this. But, man, the story that just came out, or the story that recently resurfaced about what led to OTF Boona's arrest is crazy to say the least, because they say my dude was slipping, man. He was leaving evidence at the scene and all that, man. Now, before we get to the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and, man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about this OTF Boona situation, man. Now, Boona, man, he is going out bad if this story is true. Now, I'm going to be referencing a story from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now, that is like the #1 news organization or news publication out of Atlanta, right? And they had a story, I should say, about the Cumberland Mall shooting and how one of the suspects was ID'd. Now, according to all the sources online, OTF Boona's real name is Michael L. Golden. Now, currently, Michael L. Golden, the person with a mugshot that looks just like OTF Boona, is locked up in Cobb County, man, behind 4 aggravated assault charges. In my last video, we talked about the fact that he was facing 4 aggravated assault charges and had no bond, and talked about the story behind the people who were also included in that case, man. It's a lengthy video, but it's good information, so go check it out. But in this story from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the headline says it all. It says, Cumberland Mall shooting suspect ID'd by cell phone dropped at scene, police say. So basically, somebody was ID'd from dropping their cell phone at the scene of a shooting. Who would do that, man? But now that I think about it, anybody would do that, man. I gotta shoot Boona some bell on this, man. Because if he was really out there shooting, this is all alleged. I'm not saying he was. And, in the act of shooting back and forth and gunfire going off and people getting shot and all this, because 4 people allegedly got shot, right? Well, ain't no alleged to it. 4 people got shot. They went to the hospital and some of them got arrested after getting shot. And that's a whole nother story, and we'll get to that. But, man, I guess it would be really easy to drop your cell phone in that situation. So I got to shoot him some bell there. Now, the story starts off by saying this: losing your cell phone is never convenient. But for one man recently identified by Cobb County Police, a dropped phone led to a felony assault charge. Michael L. Golden is the latest suspect identified in the March 23rd shooting outside of Cumberland Mall, according to a Cobb arrest warrant obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The incident involved a shootout between 2 cars in a parking lot outside the mall and resulted in 4 people being injured, including a 6-year-old. Now, it was also mentioned in another story about this that I guess that parking lot shares, the parking lot with like a Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. You know how malls are set up or whatnot. And I'm not sure if they were coming in or out of the restaurant or what was going on between these 2 groups to make them get into it, man, or for them to start shooting at each other. It just doesn't make sense. Could it have been a chance interaction? Could it have been something that they were dealing with, like they had some type of dealings? Because some of the people got arrested for having some drugs on them, man, for having some crazy guns on them. I'm talking about one dude had the Draco and all that, man. Now, the story continues by saying Golden was identified after Cobb police executed a search warrant on a cell phone found at the scene, the arrest warrant states. So basically, they executed a search warrant on the cell phone, and from, going through that cell phone, they found OTF Boona. And Boona's information was there for them to see everything, probably, man. They probably looked at everything, man. Probably was trying to find new stuff to get him on, or just get his ID so they know who was involved potentially, you know what I mean? Now, just because they have that evidence doesn't mean that OTF Boona is guilty. Like I said, you're innocent until proven guilty as far as I'm concerned. Now, the story continues by saying 3 teenagers who were involved in the exchange of gunfire were also injured and later arrested, police said. Karanji Reese, 18 years old, Jacova Harris, 19 years old, Deshaun Powell, 19 years old, are all facing drug and weapons charges. Harris is also facing 1 count of reckless conduct after police said he fired a gun in the parking lot. And based on the other story I did, man, it seems like a couple of them are facing some serious charges, man. So it makes you wonder what led to this going down. Now, a couple of them are already out on bail as well, so, they got to bond them out. But the story continues like this. It says the teens were together in one car on one side of the shootout, but no suspects had been identified from the other car until the Cobb police used a search warrant to unlock the cell phone found at the scene. According to the arrest warrant, Golden, who is also OTF Boona, right, was identified from the phone's digital data and through search of social media, you know what I mean? So they looked at social media to look at his social media searches and the phone's digital data and compared that and somehow came up with Boona, you know what I mean? Now, Golden is wanted on 4 felony counts of aggravated assault with intent to murder, the warrant said. He is accused of jumping out of a moving SUV and firing a gun several times, shooting at each of the 4 victims and hitting 3 of them. He then got back into the SUV, a green Dodge Durango Hellcat, and fled the scene, the warrant states. So it looks like Boona, according to this, was jumped out of the Durango Hellcat and just started dumping and then jumped back in it and sped out. Now, that thing goes pretty fast, so, it's probably easy for him in the exchange of all that to drop his cell phone, if that's really his cell phone. I'm not saying it is, right? Now, the area around Cumberland Mall has become something of a hotspot in recent weeks with 3 separate shootings causing injuries in March. Aside from the shootout that led to Golden's charges, a man was shot at another restaurant in that same area, right? So it looks like, man, people have just been getting shot at that mall's location at the Cumberland Mall. And to be real, Cobb County, all that area right there, that is really not known as an active area as far as crime is concerned. Please trust me on that, man. Most people think of Cobb County and they think of nice suburbs. That's basically what it is, man. Nice suburbs and people, who really ain't into any of that, man. These is like your upper middle class, and just regular middle class homes and stuff like that. People who really, are the base for most cities. The people who do all the work hard, go home to their nice house, and it's that, man. So for them to all be there at the same time in that parking lot and for this to happen, I'm not sure, was it a previous argument? Did one party know that the other set was, or the other group was there? I'm pretty sure most of the information is going to come out as this plays out in court and as we get more information. But right now, it just looks like a crazy story. And another member of OTF who is off the streets, man, and is, lessening their roster. And a lot of people are saying, Boona is so loyal to Lil Durk that this is a real big hit because, Boona is one of his ride or dies for real. Now, with that, this has been your boy. Hold up. What do you guys think about this situation? Do you think that possibly all of this is just too convenient and matches up too well? Is it possible that Boona was just there and dropped his cell phone earlier that day and he really wasn't in the Hellcat Durango and sped off or whatever? Or is it a possibility that, man, he made a critical mistake when he thought he was going to get away with a situation and it came back to bite him in the end? Now, with that, that's been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this content. And we out of here. Peace.